Okay, 1 2 1 2. Let me just move this over here. Okay. Right. So, all right. So I think I have to come over here and oh, which one is it? This one? I think it's this one here. All right, set up there. Let me come back over here. Set up here. Okay, I got it. All right. So for those who are watching this right now, I'm multitasking. Just give me a minute. Let me try to share the link to different people, Facebook, WhatsApp. Anyway, blessed love. Hope everybody's doing good. Love in the house. Just hold on. I'm organizing this type of improv type kinda, right? So that we talk about something. This is the day before the holiday. Tomorrow is a holiday. And I thought it would be interesting to one test, because I'm trying to do more than one thing at a time. One is to see how the Zoom and so forth is working, because it has been given trouble. I'm using a different laptop, right? So yeah, my laptop giving trouble. So I'm using another one, not my own. All right. I think I'll have to save up. I know when I'll be able to get a next laptop. I think I'll have to try to save up to get a next laptop. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm trying to do some things to, make something happen. Okay. All right. So there's about 3 things I'm doing at the same time. And just for information's sake, for those who will be watching, what we'll be talking about today, let me mute some of my stuff. I know as I click on certain things, the volume is going to get loud. So I don't want too much things feeding back. But I know as I get on some stuff, it could easily have the audio feeding back and so on. It's challenging when there's a lot of things you have to do by yourself, right? So it just is what it is. So I have to try to get some things done solo. So this evening we'll be talking about cognitive dissonance, and I'll be repeating that several times so that persons can get familiar with it. Okay. And for those who would just be joining, they would be, aware of what the topic is, what I'll be getting into. Right. So let's see. I think I have everybody there. I think I have everyone. Did I miss anyone? I hope I didn't miss anybody. All right. I think I got everybody. I think I got everybody there. Yes. So today I'll be talking about cognitive dissonance. I think I was able to share everything with everyone. All right, good. And for us to have our discussion, this is a word that is mostly used in psychology, cognitive dissonance. We're going to look at it from a dictionary perspective and look at it from the psychology perspective and use some examples with what I'll be talking about. This is pretty much part 2 to what I spoke on just the other day on the subject entitled stubborn, right? Blessings, Sister Laz. It's great to see you. You come in time, sister, because we're going to, talk about something that should be helpful to those who are interested. All right. I did not want to wear on my glasses this evening, right? But when I started to read the stuff that found, I had found on the internet, it was so small. So I had to try to put on my glasses and read this stuff, right? Hope my audio is coming across clear. Let me try something quick to see if I'll hear my voice. Yeah. I think I'm hearing myself here, right? So let me go to the share screen and let's see if we could get a dictionary definition for it. Hey, thanks very much, Sister Charmin. Blessings, blessings. Good evening. Glad to see you. Glad to hear from you. All right, so we're looking at the word cognitive dissonance. And this is a word that is thrown out when you talk to some people, not everybody, but when you talk to some persons who have their issues with Christianity and whatnot, they tend to throw out this word cognitive dissonance. So I have it set up here. Let me see. Is the share screen? I don't think the share screen is set. So let me see if I can get the share screen set up here so that you all could see it. I don't know why. Don't know why it is. I wasn't. Oh, wow! Look at that. So let me take off that. Oh, something else to take off. All right, I'll take off that and that. Taking off quite a bit of stuff. Let me see if we could get. Okay, where is it? Okay. Oh, we were sharing. We were sharing. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can get back to share screen. I thought it wasn't sharing, but actually it was. All right. All right, so anyway, so we have cognitive dissonance here. And as I was saying, this word is used several times towards Christians when it comes to our faith, that we exercise cognitive dissonance. And you should know what you're talking about. And when people talk, several times they talk to you thinking they know what they're talking about. And to be honest, several people don't even know what they're talking about. So let's learn something because we are on knowledge, understanding, and wisdom discourse. And this is about learning. And you get to learn different things. So what does the word mean? Looking at the Cambridge Dictionary, here's the definition. It says, a state in which there is a difference between your experiences or behavior and your beliefs about what is true. All right. Now I'm going to repeat the definition and then we look at the a little bit of psychological explanation on the definition. So I get people a little more familiar with the word, especially if you speak with someone and that person is saying to you who are a Christian that you are displaying cognitive dissonance, or they are asking you if you are displaying cognitive dissonance. So you'll know what they're talking about, providing they know what they're talking about, right? So I'll read it again. It is a state in which there is a difference between your experiences or behavior and your beliefs about what is true. So there's a difference. So persons would have a state, they have a mental state, an emotional state, all right? And there's a difference between their experiences or their behavior and the beliefs about what is true. So there's this conflict, there's this issue that arises with people. So let's say, for example, I am staring at you guys right here, right now, and you all are saying it's not Brother Devon staring there. It's actually a puppy. It's a puppy that can talk. And you hold that in your mind, and when people bring the information, no, that's a human being. That's not a puppy. Then you have a conflict within yourself because you have the truth in front of you, which is you are seeing a human being speaking. And instead of accept the fact that you are seeing a human being,
you would want to gravitate most to, no, it's a puppy. And people get upset. They retreat and all that kind of stuff, right? So Karen has joined us. Blessings, Karen. Glad to see you, bro. All right. So we're going to see this displayed in quite a number of people, and sad to say, it's quite often displayed in the same people who accuse you or me of displaying cognitive dissonance. Now, I think I have another definition over here with the psychology. I hope the share screen is working, so it switches as quickly as I switch. I just switched it, so I'm kind of waiting. There's a bit of a delay on, right. I see it come up, right? So it came up. So let's look over here. Cognitive dissonance from the Britannica, and it reads as follows. Cognitive dissonance, the mental conflict, watch it guys, is the mental conflict that occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information. So somebody has beliefs, they have assumptions on a matter. So you could have an assumption on me. You could think that I am, let's see what I could use, boy. You could have an assumption that I am 280 pounds. I'm very, very, strapped. I'm very thick. I'm muscular, as we would say, right? But then when you see me, you see someone that is slim, very slim. And now there's a conflict that occurs within that person because your belief, your assumption was that I was very thick, I was very muscular, and comes to be that I am not thick and muscular, and there's a mental conflict that happens within the person. Now, I'm not saying, this is not trying to say that you may have a particular view at one point and you're surprised. No, it's not hitting that. This is actually dealing with someone who is dead set on holding on to their belief in spite of what they are actually seeing, what they are actually hearing, what new information is being presented to that individual. That person is having a conflict, a mental conflict, the mental conflict that occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information. And this applies to anybody, Christian or non-Christian, anybody. Notice I am a fair person. I like being fair. I don't think that you should just apply things to non-believers or only Christians. This applies to anybody who functions in this way. Anybody, it don't matter. It don't matter. Watch this. The unease or tension that the conflict arouses in people is relieved by one of several defensive maneuvers. Now, I want to read that over because you have to understand how people deal with the conflict when they come into the new information, to the truth, to correct information. People maneuver. They try to find ways to accept the belief they would have had because they don't want to reject the information. They don't want to reject their original thought. They still want to hold on to it. So they have ways to maneuver around it. So watch it. I read it again. The unease or tension that the conflict arouses in people is relieved by one of several defensive maneuvers. Watch them. They reject. So outright, you get the information, you get the truth, you get the facts. And what people do, they reject the truth. They explain away the truth. They avoid the new information. They persuade themselves that no conflict really exists. So you're actually seeing a conflict. You're actually hearing the conflict. You have the facts in front of you. And in spite of that, people actually say, no, that's not contradicting. That there's no conflict. Watch it. Reconcile the differences. They find a way to reconcile differences or resort to any other defensive means of preserving stability or order in their conceptions of the world and of themselves. They will find any means, any reason to hold on to the view. They will find an equilibrium to accept the view They have. Now watch this. Just a little bit of information. We're not going to read too much over here. Watch it. The concept was developed in the 1950s by American psychologist Leon Festinger, or Tinger, I don't want to mess up the man's name, and became a major point of discussion and research. Right? So this is something that happened at that time, and it was a big thing for dialogue. So I'm going to read just a little bit on. You all could always read about the person and how they came up and all that. Let me see. All right. I'll read a little bit about him there. Let's see. I don't think I want to read the education. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just read up on him a little bit and leave the rest for anybody to read. This is in the Britannica. All right, anybody could read up. Now, let me stop for a quick moment here to say something. Now, in doing this, there were videos I wanted to play, but things I wanted to show. But I think it was probably 2 years ago that I did a YouTube live, and I either utilize a small clipping of a video, or I use some documented information, right, on a site, and I was flagged. Our YouTube channel was flagged, and we were on, I kind of guess, probably like yellow alerts or whatnot, for about 6 months to a year, something like that, because we use somebody as material. So I'm very cautious. Sometimes I might use a video, I might play a video, but these days I'm so cautious in playing videos and so on. So I rather take information, and I try to take information from, general sources like the Cambridge Dictionary, Britannica, so that people wouldn't flag the video, flag the YouTube channel and so on, like was done. And they took out the video, right? They just took out a video that we did. I think it was myself and Sister Charmaine, and probably we did a video, and they just removed it. So I try not to, follow that pattern again. Try to do things a little more cautiously. And I used to do things even before I'm very, very guarded. I'm very cautious in what I do, but say what. So let's just check on something here. We're speaking about the person here, Leon Festinger, born May 8th, 1919, Brooklyn, New York, US, died February 11th, 1989, New York City. American cognitive psychologist, that's how he's known as. American cognitive psychologist, best known for his theory of cognitive dissonance, according to which inconsistency between thoughts or between thoughts and actions leads to discomfort, which is dissonance, which motivates changes in thoughts or behavior. Now that might have gone over some people's heads. Let me read over that again. All right. So American cognitive psychologist, best known for his theory of cognitive dissonance, according to which inconsistency between thoughts or between thoughts and actions leads to discomfort, which is dissonance, which motivates changes in thoughts or behavior. Festinger also made important contributions to the study of group behavior, self-evaluation, and attitude change. Now, at this point in time, I am not trying to determine whether psychology is or is not for you, whether you agree with it, yes or no, right? Blessed night, Royal Priesthood, it's here, bro. But where cognitive dissonance is concerned, it is a term that is used. And what a very simplistic way to put everything we have discussed thus far, and pretty much I'll be repeating myself, is that someone would have thought something and acted in a way probably to whatever they thought. Let's say, for example, because I come out of a community, you think that all people who come out of that community are such and such, right? Let's use something local right here in Trinidad here for Laventille. Several people, even in Trinidad, would say, people coming out of Laventille, they're bad and this and that, which is not true. Everybody coming out of Laventille is not bad or anything like that, right? But because Lavantil would have gotten a name, a negative name for years, and because of certain persons who would have, kind of like promoted that, not everybody in the area, yet people in society would pretty much label, and not everybody in society as well, but quite a number of people in society would label everybody in Lavantil as bad eggs, etc. Now, when new information comes to an individual, let's say Tom was talking about them people in Lavantil, they're so bad and they so this and that and so on. But then you meet somebody who is, let's say, a police officer, and this police officer is very influential in society, doing really good things, having youth groups, etc., etc. And Tom is talking to this police officer and telling this police officer, boy, them people in Lavender, so on. So all of them is the same and so on. So. But then the police officer says, Tom, that's incorrect. You're saying different things that is not true. So let me clarify some things for you. And when when the police officer explains different things, Tom, in spite of the factual evidence that the police officer might bring, Tom would still hold die hard to his thoughts, to his belief. And when the police officer presses gently that, no, Tom, you need to see this, bro, you need to come and see, he becomes agitated now. Tom becomes agitated. He tries to find a way to, no, well, they're doing that because of so and so, but really and truly what is, all of them still bad and this and that. See, that is a practical example of cognitive dissonance, that information is being presented, clarifying and correcting things, and still some people would want to maintain that type of thought pattern. Okay, this, my dear friends, is something that is often thrown to Christianity and us as believers by some people, not everybody, but there are people who throw that at us. And we have to be mindful that, hey, when you say that, we need to let people know that's not true. We don't have that cognitive dissonance. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the claims people make, you'll find that, listen, plenty of the claims are faulty. Let's look at some of the claims. There's this video that was circulating some years ago. It was a good bit of years ago. The Zeitgeist movie. And I encourage people, once you're strong enough, go check it out, where they made several statements in respect to Christianity and Christians borrowing things from Egypt, borrowing ideas and concepts that was before, things that predated Christianity, and ultimately saying that Christianity is a man-made religion, that this is taken from stories and so on and so on. So as I mentioned a few moments ago, the desire that I had was to show a little bit of video, but a cautious YouTube channel might get flagged and all that kind of stuff. So I decided not to go there. So I pulled up some things in regards to the Zeitgeist movie, so you all could see for yourselves. All right, so let me see if I could set that up there. Where is it? The Zeitgeist. This is it here. All right, so this is coming from, and I'm not going to read everything. Let's see if we could get a little bit of a head in to see where this is coming from. Movies fandom, right? Moviepedia. Everybody could see it, see the information. You can take a picture and a free screen and all that. And here they have Zeitgeist, the movie. The film is by Peter Joseph, right? And here's some of the things it states. Let's just read a bit of what it says. It says, Peter Joseph exploring the relationship between Christianity, the September 11 attacks, and the Federal Reserve Bank. It was released in 2007, so that we get the date there, on Google Video, or well, at least on Google Video, and is available for free distribution. It is achieving notoriety very quickly as of July 15, 2007. A specific Google research shows 167,000. Am I correct? Hits. All right, so let's just touch on some of the things quickly here. Divided into three parts. Part one, the greatest story ever told. Part two, all the world's a stage. And part three, don't mind the men behind the curtain. A zeitgeist is designed to prompt the audience into questioning their own beliefs on the subjects of US involvement in the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Christian theology, the Federal Reserve System, and the decreasing status of personal freedoms in the United States of America due to introductions of laws and organizations such as the Department of Homeland Security and the Patriot Act. All right, so those are some areas that the film touches on. Let's see if we could scroll on a little bit to check on this, more so the Christian aspect. All right, so let me see. All right, so they have over here talking about the prologue, 9/11. So we won't focus on that. People can check that if they wish. I just want to more so zone into the Christian aspect. All right, good. All right, good. So we have part one here. Watch it. Part one, the greatest story ever told. Part one deals with the origins of Christianity in paganism. Watch it, watch it. It says that part one deals with the origins of Christianity in paganism. So what they're saying is that Christianity started in paganism, according to this thing, and the parallels between Jesus and the Egyptian sun god Horus. Now, let me pause here for a quick moment to say something. When people throw the cognitive dissonance at you, and they use examples such as this that we're reading up on, what they are pretty much saying is your belief in this Jesus, your following of this Christian faith is a farce. It's nonsensical. It's ridiculous. You ought to probably throw it away. Now, people don't normally, they don't come out and tell you that to your face, but that's where they're going at. Because if you're telling me that I have cognitive dissonance, and then you're highlighting certain things about Christianity, and you're trying to bring an argument, your argument is geared towards me throwing away Christianity. Let's just talk real and honest. You want me to throw away Christianity because you believe I have cognitive dissonance, that I have not accepted the information that you are presenting. That's what people tend to say. Now, here is what is embedded in that argument for the very person who is making the claim. This is what's embedded. If what you are saying proves to be wrong, then that means Christianity is 100% true. The faith is correct, and people should be following the teachings of the faith. That's embedded even in an opposition towards Christianity. It's embedded. Because if you come presenting something to me and say that what I believe is not true, and then I investigate what you present to me, and your claims are faulty, then you ought to be the one taking the correction. You ought to be the one recognizing that the faith is true and turn to Jesus. That is what ought to happen. But these persons often, they want you to do something that they themselves not willing to do. I just wanted to hit that. And then we'll go back to the thing. So let's go back to the share screen. I want people to see it. You need to see it, you need to understand when people throw out something, how to respond and the different dynamics connected with that. So we read over again. Part one deals with the origins of Christianity in paganism and the parallels between Jesus and the Egyptian sun god Horus, and the many other mythical figures of diverse times and locations in history. So over here, the video is making things look as though Christianity started in paganism. That's its origin, that's its roots. So Christianity is founded on paganism, and that there are strong parallels between Jesus and the Egyptian sun god Horus. And they lump Horus and Jesus with many other mythical figures of diverse times and locations in history. So they're just making everything look like a big joke, a big game. Okay, so let's keep going. This part also documents a series of biblical passages which try to prove that Christian theology is nothing more than an extrapolation of pre-existing texts, and the Bible is nothing more than astro-theological literary hybrid. So everything is just a story. That's what it is. Now, for those who might be watching, you might be seeing some things on the right of your screen here with this video and so on. I don't know how to take it off, right? So all you bear with me. Just try to ignore it. More focus on what's being said. I tried to get something that was just the information, and it was so difficult. So just ignore that thing on the right hand side. I'm just taking the info, right? Okay, let's keep going. So they're basically saying that everything in this particular movie, the zeitgeist, is a whole bunch of garbage, nonsense, and just story, just myth. Everything is myth, right? Now, I find it very interesting because watch this this comment that we're going to touch on just now. All right, watch this. It introduces varied trivia to dispel the gospel of Jesus. That's what the video does, but doesn't critique its own argument. Ah, boy, look at that, look at that, look at that. The writer of this says, but it doesn't critique its own argument. You see, this is what does happen with most people who push that cognitive dissonance towards Christianity and more so the teachings of Christianity. We're talking about some practices that some Christians might have, which are unbiblical, but we are talking about the teachings of the Bible, the true sound teachings of the Bible. People will critique the Bible, they will critique the faith, but they would not critique their own arguments. And I applaud the writer over here for saying this, but doesn't critique its own argument. For example, and they give an example here. What? Horus has 12 disciples. In the video, folks, in the video, they will say that Horus has 12 disciples. Watch this, which happens to be questioned even by Egyptologists. Watch that. Watch that. They're not seeing the people who would say cognitive dissonance for Christians. They're not recognizing that Egyptologists, because you're getting the idea about this Egyptian sun god named Horus, you're getting that from Egyptologists. How people to think. How you get information about Horus? That's primarily coming from Egyptian professors and so forth. They are called Egyptologists. And the Egyptologists question the claim made in the very video, where the video says that Horus had 12 disciples. Even the other day when I was speaking, Brother Priesthood, he was helping me to get Horus and all these other things. Thank you again, Royal. Right? And watch what they say after this bracket. And so did Buddha and Krishna. So why not Jesus? So what the video was saying is that Horus, Buddha, and Krishna all had 12 disciples. So why not Jesus? Yeah, of course, Jesus would have 12 disciples. Therefore, Jesus, the whole story of Christianity and all that was taken from these faiths prior to Christianity coming on the scene. That's what they were saying. That's what they were saying, right? I think I'm not too sure. I can't remember if Buddha come before or after. I tend to think Buddhism came after, you know. But anyway, I guess we could check that in. So all of them apparently had disciples, 12 disciples. So of course Jesus would have 12 disciples. All right, so that is the kind of reasoning people use. Let's read a little bit more on this thing. We're not going to read everything, just a little bit more. Part 1 begins by explaining how and why early civilizations personified the sun god as the unseen creator or God. That's what early civilizations did. They personified the sun as the unseen creator or God. And how stars were linked into constellations. The 12 constellations being a place of travel for God's sun and representing elements of nature that happened during that period of time. This was depicted graphically by the image of the cross of the zodiac pictured on the left. So if you look at the left here, you have the cross of zodiac, and this was in the documentary or the movie, All right, so you can check that in the video. And I tell people, I encourage people to go watching because I'm not afraid of you checking out stuff. I'm not hiding no video from you. Go and watch the video. Make sure you're strong. You go watch the video for yourself so you can see it. And some people that run away. No, I don't want to see that. You could get educated. You could challenge your faith and you could get stronger. So don't run away from things. Be brave. I mean, we check for so many things we shouldn't even be watching. So why not check for something that could actually challenge you and help you to sharpen your feet? I tell you, most of us we watch things we're not supposed to watch. So you just be honest. All right, watch this, right? It says on the left, which shows the 12 constellations, 12 months of the year, 4 seasons, solstice, and equinoxes. This section is also used by the film to show the pagan origins of the symbol of the cross. So the film showing you that the cross originated with paganism. Well, that is a bit of a double-edged sword because the cross originally was not, in terms of what we know the cross is today, where Jesus was crucified, that was not originally a Christian symbol. Eventually, it became accepted, and even the Bible talks about it in a way of salvation being, met through that execution, right? But I mean, it's a double-edged in the sense that, that pagan origin and pagans made it. But the argument kind of falls apart when you spend time actually having the conversation. All right, let's go a little further. Horus, oh God, come on. Horus, the ancient Egyptian sun god, is introduced as having a number of attributes in common with Jesus. That's what the video shows, that Horus has a number of similar attributes as Jesus. The table below shows the comparison between Jesus and Horus as alleged by the film. I like how this person writes this, that this is an allegation that was made by the film in respect to Horus and Jesus. That look at Horus and look at Jesus. You see comparisons being made. All right, watch this. It is to be noted that the film does not mention Jesus during the section on Horus, as it presumably allows the viewer to forge the link by him or herself. That's clever. That's very, very clever. All right, so we check the table and then we wrap up after the table in terms of watching these things, right? I'll talk a little bit. Also discussed is the relationship between Horus and Set. Apparently, every morning Horus would win the battle against Set, and every evening Set would conquer Horus and banish him to the underworld. The movie describes this conflict between dark and light, or good and evil, as one of the most ubiquitous mythological dualities ever known. So let's pull up the thing over here. Zeitgeist movie comparison of Jesus and Horus. This is what it was. So watch it, right? So this is the events on the far left. In the middle, they have Jesus. And on the right, they have Horus. Everybody watch this good. Watch it. So born of a, watch it, born of a virgin. Jesus born of a virgin. Horus born of a virgin. We went hit this afterwards, right? Watch this. Birthday December. Jesus' birthday is December the 25th. Research places his birth in September or early January. No, but watch it. They say Jesus' birthday is still December 25th. That is the date. That is the first date. The other one is bracketed. So for the Christians, I just tell the Christians, for my fellow brothers and sisters, these are the arguments that people would use against us when you say, long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. When you say them kind of things, when you sing them kind of things, when you promote them kind of things, you're giving ammunition to people who don't support the Bible. I didn't tell you if it is your celebrate Christmas. I just telling you. When you sing certain things, when you promote certain things, just know that you're giving ammunition. I just want you to know that. Because here you have these people now saying, birthday, December the 25th for Jesus, and they have the bracketed information, research places his birth in September or early January, and then they give the comparison to Horus, December the 25th. That's what they do. All right, let's go. Birth heralded by, watch this, the birth heralded by the star in the east, and Horus, Sirius morning star. All right, further witnesses. Watch this category. 3 wise men. Actually, the Bible just says wise men. It never gives a number. Very good. Now, what do they do here? 3 solar deities. Age of rite of passage, 12 for Jesus, 12 for Horus. Age of baptism, 30 for Jesus, 30 for Horus. Let's keep going. I hope this table, all right, it's not that long. Good. Followers, 12 disciples, had more, in brackets, had more than 12, but used 12 in order to establish the church. And with Horus, you have 12 disciples questioned among Egyptologists. Amazing facts. Jesus walked on water, healed the sick. Horus walked on water, healed the sick. How he died. Jesus crucifixion on a cross. Horus crucifixion on a tree. Post-death events. Went to hell, resurrected after about 35 hours, covering 3 separate days. As for Jesus, Horus went to hell, resurrected after 3 days. Jesus, resurrection, yes. And Horus, resurrection, yes. So I'll stop at this juncture here and we wrap. And again, I encourage people to go pull up what I pull, have your conversations and be educated. Now, you see, they do that comparison there within the Zeitgeist movie. And they leave an impression on people's minds. And now people will put those things forward to you and I as though those are arguments in support of Christianity being nonsensical, false, not worthy of following or considering. You do what you want. So you feel to worship the trees, you worship the trees. You feel to not worship, not pray, you don't pray, because at the end of the day, all these things are just ideas people have in their head and think. So those are the things that happens, guys, when looking at someone bringing these accusations of you and I having cognitive dissonance, or us accepting some false religion handed down by the white man, quote unquote, the white man, and all that nonsense. These are the things people would put to you, especially, and this is going to hit them more like it, when you start to challenge what they present. When you start to challenge them, you see, they don't want challenge. People want to present something to you, and you must just accept it. You must not think. They actually get upset when you thinking and you start to break down things step by step. So let's ask some step-by-step questions. Was Horus born on December the 25th? I think the answer may end up being no. You just go and ask some Egyptologists. But wait, let's say he was born on December the 25th. But is he an historical person? No, he's not. Horus is not an historical person. What a historical person is? A person that was breathing oxygen, had physical features, all right? Had a physical father and a physical mother. Yeah, yeah. The only persons that did not have a physical father, flesh, total flesh, and mother, total flesh, was Adam and Eve. That's it. Everybody else coming after them had mother and father. So then Horus has to have a father and a mother to be compared to anybody else. Otherwise, he can't be compared. At the end of the day, he's a myth. All right? He is a myth. He is not real. Okay? Yeah. Jesus was real flesh. Jesus said, come handle me. This is the same. Yeah, you can touch. This is flesh. You can touch. Yeah. Even John said, we saw him, we handled him. They were able to communicate with him, touch him on his hand or whatnot. Yeah. Could you do that with Horus? No, you couldn't. Okay? Did Horus get baptized? You need the evidence to show that Horus got baptized. Well, he was already a myth, so I don't know how a myth could get baptized. How do you baptize a myth? How do you do that? In regards to Jesus and the wise men, again, try to encourage my fellow believers. Stop saying 3 wise men. Could there have been 3 wise men? Yes, of course. But does the Bible say that? No, it doesn't. The Bible simply says wise men. So there could have been 2, 3, 3,000. We have no idea. All we know, there were 3 gifts, but there were wise men. But we keep saying 3 wise men, and we make cards and all kind of stuff with 3 wise men because there were 3 gifts. Maths. Oh, I wonder. You know, I wonder if you take a cup and you dip it in the ocean, and when you take out the cup, you see no fish inside of it. Is your conclusion that the ocean has no fish? You take a cup, you dip it inside, forget a cup, take a mug, dip the mug inside the ocean, bring it up, you have no fish, no tadpole, no octopus, no crab. Is your conclusion because there's none of these things in this mug, then none of these things exist in the ocean? You would not be very bright to do that. I wouldn't encourage you to do that. Don't do that. That's just something to stretch thoughts, stretch your mind a little bit. Okay? So, when we look at the claims made about Horus, and this is just one example we're doing through now. One person being compared to Jesus, quote unquote person, and you're already seeing some serious major issues with it. Now, when you and I take time to break down things, remember we talk about the cognitive dissonance inside these folks they become uncomfortable because the argument they came with, thinking that they have such a strong argument, they start to see it falling apart. So in their minds, in themselves, they become uncomfortable. Why? Because they want to hold on to the line. They don't want the truth. And it goes back to what I said in the previous live that I did. That live didn't come out too good. The audio wasn't matching my mouth as I was speaking and so on. So I'm trying something new to see what could happen. Yeah. So the stubbornness is what I raised. And there are people who will tell you things thinking they have really solid information, really solid argument, and their arguments, their information incredibly weak, so weak. They don't want to change. They don't want to change. They would try to end the conversation. They would get upset and talk about, these kind of talks. I don't like to have these kind of talks. These things. You see this religion talk and so on. People just get vexed for this. I don't really like this. But you start the talk. And we would have had the talk if the talk was going in your direction. Now that the talk is not going in your direction, as a matter of fact, all your arguments being destroyed by simple facts of that belief system. So Egyptology itself is telling you that Horus was not baptized. it is also telling you that Horace did not have 12 disciples. It is also telling you that Horace did not um have three wise men. Egyptology is telling you all these things. Then you realize, hey, we're losing this battle, and people get upset. They get upset. They have the cognitive dissonance. They are the ones that try to maneuver. I've seen this happen over and over again, over and over. It's a few people I see that are willing to present something, hear the facts on that thing they present, and then humble themselves to seek the truth. Few people, not many, few. And we have to learn to engage in intelligent conversation with people. Sometimes you might get somebody to, change their mindset, their behavior on the first go, or probably the second, third, fourth go. But if you be faithful as an intelligent person, they do see that. And it's up to them to decide what they want to do. But this talks about the transformation. This talks about somebody who wants truth on the terms of what truth is. Because truth stands alone. I don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be spiritual to recognize that the t-shirt that I have on is red. You don't have to be spiritual. You just have to open your eyes. That's all you have to do. Use your senses. Okay? And you will see that the t-shirt I have on is red. You can see that my background is green. It's not orange. It's not purple. It's not black. Okay? I am not sitting by a pool. You're not seeing a pool. You see nothing symbolizing a pool. So you could simply say, without being spiritual, but just being practical and sensible, that Brother D is sitting in a room and he has a green screen behind. That's it. Simple. Just a simple practice of truth would go a long way if people would remain consistent. But that's the issue. Consistency. Consistency is the issue. And learning to be humble, even if you are wrong in something. I say it lovingly. I'm not trying to bash anyone. But you are wrong. Just say, I was wrong. Be willing to learn and grow. To walk this walk of Christ is one where you have to recognize that several times we will be wrong and we need to be corrected. We need to humble ourselves and receive the correction. To walk in God's will, His power, we have to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Our minds need to be renewed. Our minds need to be transformed. We are not to conform to this world. We are not to pick up the language of this world in terms of being inconsistent in our approach and so on. If we argue, if we have a particular argument, your argument is to stand throughout. You just be humble, be wise, and we could all progress in a positive way. That said, this is Brother Devon saying thank you for joining. I hope what was shared would have been a bit of motivation, some education where you learn the meaning of a word for those who may not have known, and for those who already know, hey, I spoke on something that you already know. So I wrap up at this time. You all have a blessed night until God blesses us to meet again. Brother Dev is out. You all have a